All right. Well, thank you, Meg. So yes, everything Meg said is true. I did meet her online probably a couple of months after Phoenix was born. And so he was born in January of 2014. And it took until June of that year, so 6 months old, to go ahead and sign up as a coach. But I signed up with Meg and I went all in. So I didn't do the challenge group first and then become a discount coach and then, kind of slowly transition. No, by the time I had done my research and looked into this coaching, and bless Meg's heart, she was one of those people where it's proven that fortune is in the follow-up, because I think it was every month. It definitely wasn't obnoxious, but it was like every month she would just check in and see, where I was. I had just signed up to do IIN, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. I was kind of on my own, doing my own weight loss and having some success, post baby. And, just kind of in that phase. But I knew too that I wanted to stay home with Phoenix. And so by that point, I was just ready to jump in. So just a little bit more about my past. My whole background is in nonprofit leadership and management. I even went back for my master's in that. And basically, my whole background is of service, of giving and serving others. And so coaching to me was kind of just a no-brainer in terms of being in a helping field, like assisting people in their endeavors, in their dreams. Okay. So I had quite a bit of success right out the gate. So I was hitting Success Club, just following the model that Meg shared with us. I was signing some coaches, mostly discount coaches. And then the best part for me personally was that during that time, I lost about 80 pounds. So that was my first year of coaching. And it was just this whirlwind. It was really exciting. So I hit Diamond in September of 2015. So it was a good 14 months after I started as a coach. So I'm not like, the whirlwind success story, but I hit it. And I was really excited. I remember calling Meg at the grocery store when I finally hit it. And she's like, oh my gosh. And so we were just super delighted. However, about 2 weeks later, I dropped rank, and it was like being hit by a Mack truck, because it was my sister-in-law who quit on me, didn't even give me a heads up. She just decided that it was too much and that she had to do nursing school and only commit to nursing school. And bless her heart, she's now an RN. I'm super proud of her. But she didn't even tell me. I didn't even have a heads up. So I just felt so defeated. And right about that time, so September, October, right in that moment was when we started seeing red flags for autism in Phoenix. And so he was 18 months old at that time, and he wasn't responding to his name. He didn't have a typical regression pattern, but instead it just felt like we were learning more about autism. And so the red flags started popping up. So about that time, we started going through assessments and really trying to figure out why doesn't he respond to his name? Why isn't he showing some developmental signs that are appropriate for his age? Why is he not, jibber jabbering and trying to talk at least? And he didn't really have a relationship with anyone except for me, and a little bit with his dad. But even his brother, who we have half-time, he could just wander in and out of the room, and he wouldn't even acknowledge Sebastian. So it was really heartbreaking and really sad time. So during that time, and I'm going to go ahead and encapsulate it in a whole year. So from fall of 2015, okay, I had been coaching for a year, until fall of this past year, 2016. I call it my dark times. Okay, I couldn't come up with a catchy phrase, so I'm just going to say it was my dark times. And this is where my why, the whole reason I wanted to be a coach, instead of becoming my why and strengthening me and edifying me, it actually became my excuse. And I know that sounds like really wonky and weird, but it's true. So what was once like, I was just so gung-ho about my weight loss and about helping others lose weight. Instead, it turned into like my crutch. I started gaining weight. I started hiding from social media. I stopped being authentic. I stopped sharing my story. And little by little, I stopped hitting Success Club. I was losing clients and losing coaches, discount coaches. And so not only did I drop rank, but now I was losing sight of my business. And I was just packing on the pounds, you guys, packing it on because I was eating out of stress, out of sadness, out of anxiety, desperation. And then my biggest why was to stay home with Phoenix, right? But instead of building on that and building a financial future and building my legacy, instead of hustling to create a better future for my son, I was stuck in this grieving stage. And so instead of getting my diamond back and fighting for my business, I just slid further behind. So my whys, my two big whys, helping and serving others and helping my family, they became my excuses, honestly. So it was about fall of this past year, 2016, where I started to shift my perspective. And, you know, I'm going to be really honest. A lot of that, I think, had to do with linking arms with some of my girlfriends. Jen Hepka is on the line. Hey, girl. Wendy Powell is another one. Jen Baxton. And then Amber Hudson, who's local here and just had her baby girl, Kennedy. I started reaching out to some of my what do you call them? My side partners, I don't know, my success partners. And I started asking for help. I started asking for encouragement. I started asking for prayer. Like in our little thread, we kind of like bitch and moan from time to time, and we ask for prayer requests and things like that. And some days we're all hustling and the thread gets like super obnoxious and it's really funny and like we can't even catch up. But other days it's just earnest. It's like, please pray. We're doing the IEP for Phoenix. Please pray. And just asking for help was so incredibly important. And so I just want to encourage you ladies, if you're ever feeling like you're alone, you're not. I mean, Team Fit Addicted is like hundreds, if not thousands strong. There is someone who is out there who either knows what you're going through, or if not, they can definitely sympathize and they can definitely pray for you. They can definitely lead you to a really good book. They can talk you down from the ledge. Okay, so reach out. We are not meant to do this. Can someone let me know? Shoot. Sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, it was only like maybe 5 seconds.
Okay, good. So I had to ask myself, what did I really want? Okay. Did I want to use Phoenix's diagnoses to, as an excuse to escape my life, or would I use it to fuel me, to fuel my business? I had to ask myself, was I going to allow myself to continue getting heavier, or would I use my story to help others once again? In other words, I had to ask the tough questions if I ever wanted to move forward, right? So you have to sit there. You have to ask yourself the tough questions. You have to get really real with yourself. So I had to be willing to face the truth. I was now, and this is really embarrassing to say, ladies, I'm now, well, not not now because the last couple of months I've gotten back on track, but I got to about 40 pounds heavier than my than my lowest weight. So I tipped the scale at 205 pounds. I started out at 250 pounds, dropped 80. So I was in the 160s. And just this last fall, I topped 205. Okay. Tears streamed down my face when I realized this. I had told myself I was never going to see the 170s again, let alone the 180s, the 190s, and then now over 200 pounds. Okay. So I had to ask myself, who am I? Am I this obese woman trapped in her body, or am I the athlete that I knew I was, who was doing half marathons and felt amazing and empowered and healthy? I'm definitely the latter. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. I love working out and I love feeling healthy and I love treating my body well. So this depressed, guilt-ridden person is not who I am. I just need to work on getting back to myself. Okay. And so I also had to look at my marriage because that was suffering. Our relationship was suffering. I had to look at my business and my finances, which were also suffering. And I just had to get really honest with all of the aspects of my life because I was lost, ladies, just absolutely lost. So I know Meg has used this term a lot in the past, and it's that moment where you draw the line in the sand. So I think at some point in last fall, I could have easily walked away from my business. I was down enough discount coaches that it almost didn't even, Diamond just didn't even look possible. My challenge groups were all but depressing. I mean, there was no input, no feedback, and I just didn't have joy in coaching anymore. I had lost a lot of the joy. But a lot of that had to do with me giving in to the temptation of living the lie that I kept telling myself, that I'm a mom of a son with autism. By this point, he had his diagnoses: autism, language disorder, global developmental delay. So not even knowing if he is going to catch up to other children, that he will consistently have struggles with socializing and making friends and things like that. I mean, intellectually right now, ladies, he's at 14 months old and he just turned 3. So, there is reason to have heartbreak and there's reason to be sad. But if I give into that and I just allow myself to quit on myself, then I'm quitting on my son. I'm quitting on my family. I'm quitting on the very people that I signed up to coach for. I'm quitting on the clients who have lost 50 plus pounds. I'm quitting on the coaches who trusted me, who signed up under me and looked for my leadership, looked for my mentorship, and who I have to honor. So even though I've made mistakes, even though I took a full year, not necessarily off, but I took a full year to lick my own wounds and basically just live a very selfish year. But it's not over. I have a decision now. So I drew that line in the sand and I recommitted and I pretty much restarted everything. So I started with just what I could control. I know Meg mentioned that yesterday or today in the Team Fit Addicted page. Control what you can control. So what I can control right now is not necessarily how well Phoenix is doing, how he's performing, how he's showing up in his life, in his cute little life, but I can control how I show up. So I'm recommitting to my weight loss journey. I'm now back into the 100s. I'm in the 190s again. I've been practicing intermittent fasting, thanks to Jen Hepka. I have also been doing carb cycling and lifting heavy because that's what I love doing. I love lifting heavy weights. I've been embarrassed. I've been scared to share on social media. And I haven't shown a ton of pictures because of that embarrassment. You know, our culture is just, it's so invested in shaming women, and I've bought into that. And so it's going to take me some time to come clean and to, you know, really share authentically, but I'm getting there. I'm a work in progress. Okay. But I'm not giving up. I had to get a physical because I was trying to find a reason that I was gaining weight. I thought, oh, I have hypothyroid. Oh, I'm in perimenopause. I'm 40 years old, so I must have low, thyroid, low hormone function. And I just wanted there to be a reason for this, that I was doing to my own body. And sure enough, if you look at my chart, it's so funny. 2015, when we started the assessments, until this fall, 2016, the trajectory was this upward climb in weight. And it all had to do with me declining my in my health and not following my journey and just eating away my feelings and binging on Netflix and sleeping and avoiding anything productive. Okay. So it was my fault. I do have low testosterone, which can affect, let's just say like sexy time. But it can affect energy levels, et cetera, but it's definitely helped by increasing the weightlifting, eating cleaner, things like that. So all the things I had not been doing for the past year. So definitely encourage you to get your hormones checked. And even if you don't have, something sexy like hypo or PCOS or, and I'm not saying sexy as in, I'm not trying to be funny. But honestly, like I wanted there to be something that I could supplement or something where I could say, Meg, give me your diet plan and help me figure this out. Like I wanted it to be like a cookie cutter, thing. But no, it had to be me recommitting to just being healthy, period. End of story. Okay. I had to make a plan, and I know that I'm long-winded. I had to make a plan for Phoenix. I had to finally compartmentalize this and make sense of it. And so for me personally, I had to make sure that he had his diagnoses medically. I had to make sure that we had services for him. We've now committed to doing a training with Sunrise Program, which is the same program. Yes, we just paid our down payment. The same program that Mindy Wender did with her daughter Lily. And I feel like finally Phoenix is making some positive strides in his education and in his socialization, that it's not so overwhelming anymore. I feel like I can finally, without guilt, give myself permission to refocus back on me and my business. Even though I should have always had that permission, but I had to come to that place spiritually. I had to come to that place emotionally to say, okay. So again, you may not be dealing with an autism diagnosis, okay? But you may be dealing with, like Allison has her candida, and also just got married. Like everyone has their own stories and their own things that they're working through. So you have to figure out how to compartmentalize that and make a plan to attack that situation in your life that is potentially holding you back. Because once you make a plan on how to master that and how to deal with that, then you don't have those excuses hanging over you. Okay? And then finally, I had to come clean with my business. Okay? So here's the checklist that I used. Am I really doing the work that I need to do in order to build a strong business? My answer was abso-freaking-lutely not. So now I'm consistent at least 5 out of 7 days with my business. And I shared this with my Team Cup ladies that I really feel like I deserve a weekend. And so, but it was actually hurting my business by taking Saturday and Sunday off. So what I do now is I work Saturday early morning, and then I bookend the weekend and work a little bit on Sunday evening just to kind of prepare for the Monday. So I have, oh, good, Shauna. So I have basically like 31, depending on how early on Saturday and how late on Sunday, I have like 31 to 36 hours of like nothing beach body. Like I don't even think about it. I just focus on my family. I just have a crap ton of fun. I sleep. That's when I Netflix binge. I just love it. Okay. And, but I still get work done on both Saturday and Sunday. So if that helps you, try that. Am I supporting the coaches that I do have? And that was really important for me because I just kept thinking, well, I'm not diamond yet. I don't really have working coaches. That's the BS story that I was telling myself. I did have coaches, but guess what? They weren't doing anything because I wasn't doing anything. Basically, it's so basic. So now I host weekly Zooms with my business builders, no matter how many show up. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. Those are basically my business builders. But I always talk with them. I'm always available to them. Am I surrounding myself with the quality people who push me? And the answer was no. But now I can honestly say that having Jen Hepka, having Jen Baxton, having Wendy, having just Amber Hudson, having these women who I just trust implicitly and I love them so much, and we can be honest and we can be open and we laugh and we encourage. I show up in my like giraffe pajamas and make them laugh, and they're always like having come to Jesus talks with me, and it's just rad. So just really surround yourself with people that get you, okay? Because at first you may not have a huge team of your own. And so surround yourself with your sideline sisters who do get you, okay? And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on, oh, I'm sorry. And then the other inventory item was like each week, where do I stand? And so I had to look at the diamond chart. I had to dust that puppy off and realize like how far I had fallen, and just really systematically left, right, rebuild. That's it. Just plug in your discount coaches, plug them in, find your coaches that want to work, and just strengthen them and edify them. You don't have to be the perfect leader. You just have to lead. You just have to start. And so I just started, or I should say restarted. So the last piece that I wanted to go over is getting over yourself. And I've been reading this book, Get Over Your Damn Self by Romy Neustadt. She's from Rodan and Fields, but she's awesome. I won't hold that against her. I'm just teasing. So here are some things, and this isn't necessarily from that book. This is from my heart, but I want to make sure that you ladies know what book I'm reading, and this kind of like helped edify the idea that I need to get over myself. So this is something that I want you to write down, and I really want you to take to heart. If this business was about us, then we wouldn't have a business after all, because it just isn't. And I really had to realize that. I had to understand that I needed to start learning to be a coach and live as a coach, and stop striving to become someone that I'm not. I already am a lifestyle coach. I am a mentor, an entrepreneur. I am a health and wellness expert to my circle of influence. I am the person that people come to. I am the people who, if I reach out to them, they're not rolling their eyes and saying, oh, I don't want to hear from you. No, I've built credibility. I've built trust with them. So I don't have to strive anymore, ladies. I really just need to embrace and just live a life as a coach. And I think when you weave that into your social media and you weave that into your family, I mean, my husband is my greatest advocate, and he's always like, well, where should we go to dinner that's healthier? And what hike should we do this weekend? And so he's embraced this lifestyle, right? So embrace it. Don't strive, okay? You don't have to. All of you ladies are coaches. Embrace that. So, and then also, God didn't create us to be timid, self-absorbed, self-conscious, fearful, all of the things for a year I was living in. So selfish, so self-absorbed. I didn't want to serve other people. I wanted people to serve me. I wanted people to tell me what the hell is going on with my son. I wanted people to come out of the woodwork and take care of my baby. I wanted people to like freaking just show up at my doorstep and bring me a meal because I didn't want to cook. I wanted people to show up with books that I could read to help my son. I was desperate, but I was in such a lonely place and so discouraged. But you know what? Selfishness is very strange because you almost feel good and you almost feel like you deserve to be there. And when you aren't facing your fears and you aren't doing what you have to do, you get an immediate satisfaction. I was satisfied with overeating and binging. I was satisfied with binge watching Netflix instead of working. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? That selfishness, even though it's ugly, even though it's sinful, it was also what I wanted. It was about me. That was not about my son. That was not about Phoenix. That was about Jamie. I took a year to celebrate me, to give in to me. I did not do a damn thing for my child. So you have to wake up. You have to realize that this business is not about us. If it is, you're not going to have a business. I promise you. I promise you. So, for the spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. Okay? And I went to Bible college, so I'm not going to say that scripture is speaking directly to us. It's Paul talking to the church, saying that God wants us to talk about him and without timidity and to be, fearless and powerful and disciplined in our faith. But I think it has everything to do with our lives as coaches. We should not be fearful. We should not be timid. We should not be self-absorbed like I was for an entire year. I lost so much time, ladies. I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but I lost so much time in working my business in that year. Do the same thing. Don't follow my lead. So anyway, I had to start behaving like a business owner. And I'm not one to preach self-discipline because I'm in Southern California. I'm type B. I'm laid back. But you know what? I do have ambition. And more importantly, I have an unflagging love for my son, and I have a huge why. Our team is called Phoenix Rising because, like him, we all will rise from the ashes. We all will rise from anything, overcome anything that is holding us back. I believe that. I honestly believe that. So if you're telling yourself that you're disorganized and you're telling yourself that you don't have time, you're telling yourself that you aren't a leader, that you weren't born to be a leader, that you're more of a follower. If you're telling yourself that you don't know how to sell, if you're telling yourself that you don't have a niche market, Jen Hepka, I know we've been through that before. If you tell yourself these lies and these things and you fixate on those things, those are all excuses to limit yourself, okay, to disempower yourself. So you really need to ask, and I'm going to close with this. You need to ask yourself, what do I really want? What would it feel like if I don't get what I want? So for me, what I want is to live a life of freedom. I want my son to have top-notch therapy and interventions to help him move away from his autism. I don't want him to self-identify as being on the spectrum. I want him to self-identify as Phoenix Xavier Salazar. I don't want him to feel that he is his diagnosis. I want him to feel that he is a child of God and that his name is Phoenix. That's what I want. And I want to be able to have the money to afford those therapies. Right now, we're having to do a fundraising for it because we can't afford it out of pocket. But you know what? A year from now, I want to be paying on my own. I don't want to be relying on my family and friends for that. So you need to understand what you want and then the gap between what you want and what it would feel like if you never get what you want. If you let yourself down, if you let your family down, what is that going to feel like? Feel that pain. Feel that discomfort. Because only then will you know what you have to do to bridge that gap. Okay? And again, we weren't created to be timid. So why aren't we sending those messages out? You're behind a computer. There's no reason to be afraid. No one's going to mow you down with the machine gun. No one's going to send you hate mail. My goodness, we're so chicken shit. It's kind of funny. So let's not be timid anymore, ladies. We have such amazing gifts. Okay. And that's it.
Can I just say, not only was I laughing, but I also was crying. Every emotion with you. But the leader that you're becoming is just guys, I'm going to be completely honest. I had a really rough day, and I won't dive into it, but it was all in my head. Okay, it was all mental stuff going on in my own head. And I knew I needed something to help. And just hearing Jamie talk, hearing everything that you talked about, I was like, yes. Seeing you guys, things click with you guys and you guys take off is what fires me up. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that just so open and raw and real. And I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but I think it was a year and a half ago when we would do one-on-ones. You said, Meg, I don't have a why. And it was before Phoenix had, started to be diagnosed with autism and everything. And you said, I don't have a why. I've lived comfortable and I just can't find that thing that gets me driven. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, that happened. And you guys, God is going to give you a why, okay? Whether you started with it or whether it comes up randomly. We're all going to have different whys as to why this business can work for us. And I love that you brought up the fact that we all have these things in our lives that we can either use as crutches or we can use it as a way to fuel us. And I see these young moms on here with these little babies, okay? And they're getting it done, Chrissy's got the 1 month and Rachel's baby and there's her husband. You guys, that's owning your business. That's showing up. That's not letting excuses get in the way. And seeing every single person on here, I was so excited to see everyone who's on here. And don't worry, I wrote down the names because I'm like, yep, they're getting my time because you guys, this is your business. This is your business, and you can do whatever the heck you want to do with it. But you've got to get real with yourself. And Jamie, if you can share those questions with us, that would be wonderful, because I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in our heads thinking oh, woe is me, I suck, blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes you need to hear from a fellow coach that they've been through that and they've pulled themselves out of it, because we all have those moments, you guys. like after 7.5 years, Kirk kind of had to yell at me earlier, but I've had so many moments, and I'm not always open and honest about all those moments with you guys, but we all have those moments. And the other thing that I wanted to make sure I brought up really quick before we can have anyone ask questions is just taking time off. I loved that Jamie said, I feel like I deserve a weekend off, but I realized that it was affecting my business. And I know I've talked to a lot of you guys that when you take time off, you get anxious. You're like, I feel like I'm missing something. Like, I don't like not working. I'm the same way, but you do need that time off, but you need to use that time off wisely. For instance, I know a lot of you guys are outgoing extroverts, okay? And what I mean by that is you don't recharge around people. And even if you're typing behind a computer, you're getting drained, okay? So maybe take a half a day on Friday, okay? Do a little less time on Friday. Take the rest of Friday off. Like Jamie said, do a little bit on Saturday, then take Saturday off, and then Sunday, and then at nighttime Sunday, wrap things up, and then get started for the week. Find what works for you. I usually take a half a day on Friday and Saturday, and then hammer it in on Sunday. But find what works for you, but use it wisely, you guys, so that you can give it your all in this business. Jamie, anything else that you want to say? No?
No, I basically vomited all over everyone. Sorry.
I can tell everyone, if you look at the messages and stuff going off, you had a lot of people have ahas during it. Rachel pops on me anytime. I love it. Guys, any questions? Anything you want to say? Anything? You're all like, yeah. No, Jamie, really, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And like I said, I needed to hear it too. So guys, in the group, okay, I want you to post below, today's Tuesday, right? In the Tuesday post, and tell us 1 to 2 things that just hit you from this, okay? Because I have 1 to 2. I'm going to post mine. I'm sure you guys have them as well. And I don't know. I see more maybe. See, that's the thing that I love about our team, okay? It's real life happening. And I think that's it. I have all my notes done here. But yeah, Jamie, thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for getting on. And draw the line in the sand, okay? If you're not where you want to be in the business, don't look back, you guys. Why? Why are you looking back? Okay, there's no reason. Okay, there's a quote that I think I have it on the diamond above cover photo, but it's something about your eyes. I'm going to read that to you really quick, then I'm going to hop off because I think that'll help some of you. Here, let me see. I'm seeing Shalene pop up in my in my newsfeed constantly. Okay, so our eyes are in the front of our head because it's more important to look ahead than to look back. Okay, so remind yourself that. If I know some of you guys have been coaches for several years, and some of you just a year, some 6 months. We're all at different points, but your eyes are at the front of your head so that you're looking forward always, you guys. It's not in the back of your head, okay, or else we'd be looking behind us at all times, okay? So keep your head forward, stop looking behind you, and just keep going, okay? Just keep going. Alrighty? Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right. I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. I want to see your takeaways, and mwah.